you there last year when somebody dropped a baby off next to me in the park?
You can't bring up Harry Potter trivia with me because I'll get all of it right.
So if I slept in my own bed for 10 nights in a row, I got to watch Scooby-Doo and the Witches Ghost.
He's my lamp, floor, doctor.
I was eavesdropping on a therapist in a coffee shop the other day.
She's clavicling.
She's claviculing, serving clav. Let's get into Gothic literature.
Between February 1692 and May 1693, more than 200 people were accused of witchcraft in Salem, Massachusetts.
By the end of the Salem witch trials, the Massachusetts Bay Colony had executed 14 women, 5 men, and 2 dogs.
My name is Blair.
And I'm Carley.
This is Girl Historians.
The Salem Witch Files. Ahoy!
Welcome back to Girl Historians.
I'm Carley.
And I'm Blair.
And this is the comedy podcast where we discuss all things history and our girls. This season, we are doing the Salem Witch Files, discussing all things Salem witch trials.
Oh, whoa, you're a poet and you didn't even know it.
I know.
Yeah, today we're doing pop culture, so we're going over some amazing pop culture moments that feature the iconic Salem witch trials.
We also dive deep into Gothic literature because I wanted to.
Yeah. We also go into how excited we are for summer.
We want to beer.
We want to beer.
Park. Pool.
Beer park pool.
Beer park pool.
Beer park pool.
Beer park pool.
We also go into Scooby-Doo, Harry Potter. We've got it all.
We've truly got it all. We talk about our love and detest for games and the game Twister.
Yes.
Let's just get into it.
Let's freaking go.
Okay. Ahoy!
Welcome back to Girl Historians.
I'm Carley.
And I'm Blair.
And this is the comedy podcast where we talk about history and also we are girls.
We're girls. We're talking about history. We're having an amazing time. The sun is out and I'm on my period.
Can't get any better than that.
Can't get any better than What else do you need in a beautiful day in April?
It is a very beautiful day in April.
It's gorgeous. I wish that we had the idea to
May.
do that. Like, oh shit, it's May Day. First day
May
of May.
Day. First of
Did
all,
I
you
pay
have
rent?
nothing to lose but your chains. No, but you still have all day to pay rent.
No, I paid rent yesterday.
I
Oh
didn't
my
pay
god.
rent. Do you always pay rent before the first?
I don't know.
I
don't. This is my first time. I have to pay rent by check, and because my old roommate moved out, she always used checks, and I had to get checks. And first of all, they charge you so much if you want any sort of pretty picture on it, so I had to get ugly, boring checks. Horrible, ruined my day. And then they took the money out of my account completely randomly, and so I forgot what it was, and I thought I was getting hacked. So I was in some sort of panic. I also think my YouTube got hacked because someone was watching like 100 Bad Bunny music videos on it.
Sure, Blair. It got hacked.
Yeah, it was you. You're watching Bad Bunny.
Do you think you logged on somewhere?
I think I accidentally like linked on to a TV in the like ski cottage I was
That's
at
going to say
weekend.
like an Airbnb somewhere and somebody's watching 500 Bad Bunny
because there were
videos.
children upstairs and you know the kids love Bad Bunny.
The kids love Bad Bunny.
They love Bad Bunny. Anyway, I paid rent and it's May. Beautiful day in May.
I thank God every day that I could just transfer my landlord my rent.
I used to be able to, and then one day they were just like, actually, you have to add us as a payee, as a business in your bank account.
Fuck off.
And then obviously you can't do that. They made that up. And then they were just like, just kidding. You need checks.
That's fucked, dude.
And
I guess they wanted you to pay it like a bill payment, but you can't do that to just a random ass fucking
you can't.
guy.
They were just like, you must be able to pay us as a business because we've registered. Like, no, they haven't. They're lying, like fully just lying. But I wish we had the idea to do that. Do you remember that guy who did podcasts at like a desk outside in the park?
Yeah.
That's a $1 million idea.
Yeah, I think the unfortunate thing if you live in Canada is that means it's the same thing as like renting an apartment that has a massive like backyard or a massive porch.
Yes.
Like you can really only use that 4 weeks out of the year, 4 months out of the year.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. The weather is great. I'm like
so
obsessed with building a summer wardrobe from my current wardrobe now.
Okay, huge.
I'm ready to wear a dress.
Do tell. Are you
Well, it's just that towards the end of winter, your wardrobe so quickly becomes like jeans and sweatshirt or sweater, or it just, there's not a lot you can do.
I've been doing this thing where I've been wearing like different button downs with jeans that don't fit me properly. And I've started to get compliments on it in a really harrowing way. Like 27-year-old men will come up to me and be like, wow, you've really found your style.
That's horrifying.
I'm really scared right now, actually. I got to switch it up stat.
No, that's scary. But you have been rocking a button down. It's been lovely. And you got a haircut also.
I did get a haircut.
And it looks very nice.
We're slowly merging our haircuts.
I know. Soon enough, we'll have the exact same haircut. No one will be able to tell us apart anymore.
This is one time I accidentally got the exact same haircut as my sister, and she was mad.
Yeah.
And I dyed my hair the exact same color.
I got mad at that once. I remember I was blonde and I was in a sketch group with Meredith who had brown hair and she dyed her hair blonde and cut it to my length. And I was like, girl, no.
You've got to run that by me.
You've got to run that by me, especially if you're in a creative partnership. Like, it sucks, but it's true that you need to give the people who don't know your name a differentiator, and they need to go the blonde one and the brunette, the red hair and the blonde. You know what I mean? Like, you need something there.
100%. Yeah, that's why I was thinking of going blonde. Now I don't think I'll go blonde. And to be fair, I wasn't really hoping for this length. I was hoping for a bit longer.
But it'll grow out.
My hair grows. Even now, it's grown like half an inch.
Yeah.
But Brendan and I are both redheads, but we're the boy and the girl. The boy and the girl.
I was thinking about that.
The funny one and the woman.
Yeah, and she's there.
And she's there. What were you thinking about?
That you both had red hair, and that's kind of crazy, statistically speaking.
Are you still trying not to buy new clothes? Is this still something you're on?
Yes, failing, but trying. I did buy a new bathing suit because I have no bathing suits that make me feel good about myself.
That's real.
Because I didn't have any. Like, I had a couple that were sporty, which is nice, but I was like, I want one that's just cute. But then I got it online, and it doesn't like really fit me. Like,
bathing suits are hard.
It's hard. I've got small ribs. Okay, like the actual circumference of my body is quite small. So it doesn't like, it kind of gaps and I don't feel comfortable in it. So what I got is a string tie bikini so I can adjust.
That's smart.
And that's what I need to, that's what I want.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, when you're just like living for the promise of summer, that's very much where I am, where I'm like, I need this because I'm going to go to the pool.
Yes.
And I'm going to go to the park and drink a beer.
The pool in the park and drinking a beer in the park and then going to the pool.
That's like all my favorite activity. That's all I fucking want to do. So that's all I'm fucking thinking about.
You're trying to find either of us this summer. We'll be at the pool in the park with a beer.
If you just go to different parks and pools in Toronto
and hang around long enough,
you'll find us.
Better if you have some free beer you're giving away. I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm saying good bait.
Have I told you that story when we went to the pool and I was outside
after the park?
After the park, obviously after the park. And I was waiting outside. You were there, but I was waiting outside with friend of the podcast, Ben Sosa Wright, because he was smoking a joint. And then I smoked a bit of the joint. And then we had a bag of beef jerky.
Oh, I do remember this.
And I had some of the beef jerky as we were walking into the pool. And there was truly this like 18-year-old girl who was like working at the front desk, and she was like, hey. And I was like, oh, she's going to tell me not to eat the beef jerky. So I literally shoved 8 pieces of beef jerky in my mouth. And then she was like, I love your videos. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
So much beef jerky in my mouth
so much beef jerky in my mouth because I thought that you were going to scold me. And the thought of being able to not bring beef jerky into the pool was so unfathomable to me. I decided to choke on it. But that's what I want. I want to smoke a joint outside the pool.
Eat some beef jerky and then swim it off.
Exactly.
No, I'm very excited for pool and park and beer. I got a
Spike ball.
Spike ball.
Island with the
I was
with the
really
girls.
excited because I think we both got added to a spike ball group chat recently, and I'm bad at spike ball. I hate it. And then,
Me too.
And then every time, when you're like playing what's supposed to be like a fun recreational game with men, and then they take it so seriously, but they also have like grown enough emotionally where they're like, if we leave this one person out, that's bad social skills. Exclude me. Like, please exclude me. Like, all I do is I upset these men who I've made my friends.
This is how I feel too. Of like, I am so content to play like 2 warm-up games and then sit on the grass next to the game the rest of the afternoon.
This is all I want. I don't want to be standing up doing a sport. I want to be sitting with beer or swimming in pool.
Exactly.
Again, I cannot make this more clear. I like pool, park, and beer.
But the spike ball has to sometimes kind of it's part of it.
Because the men are like, we're outside, we must play sport.
Well, there's nothing men love more than a game, and that's fine.
I went to the park one time a couple of summers ago with like a group of girls, and then 2 men, and the 2 men stood up and threw a ball backwards and forwards. I swear to God, for an hour and a half.
Were you there last year when somebody dropped a baby off next to me in the park?
No.
I was with Anya Davis and Griffin and the gang, and somebody just, I guess like they needed to go do something, so they dropped their baby carriage. Like they just put it up like right beside me.
Just like, can you watch this
and
baby?
They didn't even say anything. They just left, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I looked at it and I was like, there's a baby in here.
That's crazy. They were just like, it's like when you leave your laptop to go to the bathroom.
No, it was literally that. They're like, can you watch this?
Can you watch this for me?
It was crazy.
Make sure no one says this.
But I agree. I was saying literally last night to Reese, I was like, there's literally no game I'm better at than other people. Because Reese, God bless his soul, has a very strategic and intelligent mind and can't help but destroy me in every single game we play. Like, I was learning chess and like practicing every single day in the pandemic, and he was like, oh, I think I remember how to play, and then like destroyed me literally 10 games in a row until he let me win. Same with like, I remember one time I was like, oh, I'm really good at Clue. I love Clue. And then he destroyed me at Clue.
Yeah.
We almost broke up playing Risk. Like I was
just going to say Risk is the real, like that's the one.
literally was doing the sitcom thing of me being like, no, you've made your choice.
Yeah.
No, it's clear what you want to do. And he's like, can we please stop playing? I'm like, no, stick with your choice.
I feel, unfortunately, I am a little bit more of a Reese than a Carley in this situation.
Well, because if you're good at games, then you can be, but I'm not good at games.
Well, I was raised by a father who loved to play Monopoly and then completely bankrupt his 8-year-old daughter.
Oh, I take that back. I fucking slay at Monopoly.
Every time I play Monopoly, I have to crawl out of poverty as like a child because my father has bought up all the park places and all the railroads. And I'm paying tax out my ass like it's nothing.
No, Reese played Monopoly with my family, and he's like a poor socialist boy raised by communists and socialists, and is just being like exposed to my capitalist father and me and my sister. And like he like was horrified. Me and my sister like will go to each other, and I'll get up in her face, and I'll be like, "You know why you're bankrupt? You don't have it. You don't have that drive that it takes to succeed in capitalism.
You don't get it,
and you never will." Like we just like get like we like monologue at each other as if we are Bond villains, being like, you don't have what it takes. And Reese was like, what the fuck? No, I'll just lose. But that's the only thing.
My dad doesn't even do that. He just strategically takes all your money and then won't end the game. Or I'll just be like, there's no way I have $5. I'm not getting out of this. I can't move. I'm 8. My brain is so underdeveloped. I'm like, I cannot like move my piece without spending $700.
And he's like, move your piece.
He's like, move your piece. Well, you got to end the game. What do you got? We can't end the game early. I'm like, I think we can. Like, you're clearly winning. Like, I have no fight left in me. But I will say, I did get 2 games that I really want to have some event or bring into the park. Which I got Twister.
Fuck yes.
And I got Mousetrap.
Oh!
And I have no clue if Mousetrap has all the pieces. I still have to look at it. I got Mousetrap. My dad was moving out and he had these games. Oh. So he was like, I'm going to throw Twister and Mousetrap. And I was like, don't do it. I'll take them. I was like a mother taking an orphan.
That's very fun.
So I have to like look at Mousetrap. But then
I'm going to get hepatitis playing fucking Twister with all your queen's friends that have mixed.
They all have hepatitis.
Well, we're going to have an orgy and I'm going to contract hepatitis.
Yeah, from Twister. I know Twister sounds fun, but the mat is a lot smaller than I remember it being.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's for children.
Yeah, I feel like it was originally for people to have orgies in the 70s.
For sure.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah, okay. Just to like touch each other.
Yeah, they're like, what if we bend
Touching
into
was
weird
new.
shape? Touching was new in the 70s. They were like, we need a special colorful mat for touching each other.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've all dated that person.
The Twister aficionado.
Who I named my colorful sex mat.
Yeah.
Someone did, oh my God, okay, I won't say who it was, but someone recently was like, they had this blanket just out in their living room and it was this beautiful like embroidered blanket.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, that blanket's so beautiful. And then there were other people around. And then when some of the people left, they were just like, yeah, like don't touch that blanket. That's my sex blanket. I put it down, I have sex on top of it.
Why is it in the living room?
So like, why do you have a sex? Why
also,
do you have a
wash the sex blanket anyway?
First of all, I'm not of the belief that you should need a sheet to have sex. Just by a rule. I get like putting down like a sheet if, something's going on.
Yeah, if you're doing scat play.
Yeah, if you're shitting on each other or something. But also like putting down an ornate embroidered blanket is crazy.
It's crazy.
Why not just get a top sheet?
Down. Get a top sheet. Yeah, I agree.
What are you doing? Who uses their? Do you use your top sheet?
I don't.
I don't use my top sheet.
I don't like
either.
a top sheet. And people are always like, if you don't use your top sheet, your duvet is filthy. And I'm like, I wash my duvet.
Yeah, I'm like, do you guys not wash your duvets?
I just wash my duvet with my sheets.
This is the thing. Sometimes I think I realize that like other people don't do things, and then I get really scared. And one of them is wash their duvets and their coverlets. Where I think that somewhere in history, people thought that like if you wash a duvet, it'll like explode or something, or you can never use it again.
Well, that's why you get a duvet cover, babes.
Get a duvet cover. You don't need to wash it that often. Like once every 2 or 3 months.
It's the same thing as like jeans or whatever. It's like when they need to be cleaned.
Yeah, like don't be weird.
It's a vibe. Exactly. Don't be fucking weird. It's a vibe.
Also, like if you're that worried about your washing machine, you can hand wash things. I don't know why people are so anti hand washing. I love hand washing.
I've been really into hand drying. Like my neighbors have a clothes drying like line.
Nice.
And I'm really jealous because I think it was there before they moved in, and I really want it, but I really want to use it, but it's not mine.
You should ask.
I know, but
they'll probably be chill with it. Yeah, that's fair.
The problem with having neighbors that aren't from Toronto is that they're so fucking friendly. And I get it and I love it. And I'm not villainizing it because I do think it's a good thing. But I don't need more friends. Yeah. Like I really don't need more friends.
And it's like it's a gateway drug of like first you use the clothing line, then you're having an orgy on the twister mat.
And they would.
And then they're inviting you to park and pool and you have to pick who you're going to park and pool with.
I was trying to rank in this household the other day who is the most bi to least bi in the house. Because you were trying to figure out where Reese was, because Reese said he's the second most bi person in this apartment because I'm bi and he's not.
Okay, yes.
He's straight, but he's like, I technically am the second most bi.
Second most bi.
And then I was like, I think if we extend it to the whole house, I think you are not, that you lose that real quickly.
He's really far down.
He's lost he's either the last one or second to last.
Whoa.
Because there's a very straight woman who lives here.
Okay.
But then everyone else walks in and I'm like,
And a really straight woman is undefeatable. I do think that like men, if a man is like reaches a point of returns with like being really straight, he does give a bit of gay. Whereas like when a woman is really, really straight, that is the most heterosexual.
I agree. I think almost any man is gayer than a straight woman.
No, because men all like stuff up their butts biologically.
Well, this is the fucking thing. And I just think we need to, as a society, get on the page of understanding that that's where the G-spot is.
I know, like, even saying that, I'm just like, that shouldn't just, like, immediately relate to gay, but I think of that panic that men have.
Well, because they're not used to being entered.
Yes, exactly. They're not used to being entered, and I think that, like, once we overcome that, straight men will be less gay.
Yeah, because once you hop over that hurdle, where it feels like women are less susceptible to homophobia because lesbianism is so fetishized. And it's not like homophobic, but you know what I mean? Like, there's not as much gay panic because even if you're a lesbian, you can still be sexualized by men, so don't worry.
Yeah, like, don't freak out.
Fine.
You're fine.
You're fine.
It's okay.
So
the men can still sexualize you, don't worry.
Don't worry, you're still worth being alive. So I think that like women don't experience that gay panic the way that oftentimes straight men can feel that gay panic, because then they're like, but if I'm gay,
Well, it's also like it's socialization too, where it's just like
crazy.
A lot of women I know will be like, I didn't think about anything about sex until I was like 17 years old. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy that there's nothing socialized to be like, oh yeah, you're a sexual creature. Whereas like men, it's like they turn 7 and you're like, you're going to be fucking this. You're going to be fucking.
Yeah, it's like a t-shirt from the Children's Place that's like, in a couple of years, I'm going to be fucking.
Yeah, like lady killer, I'm fucking like.
Exactly.
Crazy
no, I do
what
think
we're
that's
selling to
true.
kids.
Like I've really made up for lost time, but I was not a very sexual person growing up. Like I did not. I'm deciding if I want to share this on the podcast or not.
Gears are turning.
It's fine.
You don't have to share.
No, I want to. It's fine. I didn't masturbate until 17.
No, but that's common.
But it's very common. And I've made up more than made up for lost time. But you know what I mean? Like I was like, they were like, well, then you put your fingers inside and then you pull them out, which is just basically like, they don't teach you how to make anyone come in sex eds. So so I was like, okay, I put my fingers in and I was like, well, I don't feel anything. I guess I'm asexual. I also thought I was a lesbian in high school. We talked about how I identified as a lesbian in high school because I didn't like any men.
This makes sense.
I just looked around and I was like, not impressed by this. And then I had entered adult life and I was like, oh no.
Okay, yeah.
I like men. But it was just like in high school, I was like, these guys fucking suck. So I guess I simply must be a lesbian.
I know. I feel like I almost did the opposite, where it's like there was something like very charming about teen boys to me that like
I can see that for you.
And then like once I got like older, I was like, oh my God, no, wait, they stay like that?
Yeah.
Oh my
I find myself,
God, no. God.
Yeah, it is. I find myself very charmed by men.
Yes.
I really like men a lot. But yeah, in high school, it was just because I was around like the environment that I was in. I think it'd also be different if I was in like a city. It was just like very hyper masculine, mean guys for the most part, or a couple of like nice guys, but then they were just kind of like my friends or whatever, you know, like there was never any of that. Or then when I got into adult life and it was like guys that were like cool and weird and creative and nice or whatever. Because we've talked about this, how like I don't get the strong inside. Like when people are like, he's so like mysterious. I'm like, that's fucked up.
I'm like, speak up.
No, speak
up.
No, that's exactly how I feel.
I can't hear anything these days too.
What is your personality?
It's just like, don't you like him? He's shy and calm. I'm like, no, he doesn't know how to project his voice, so I can't hear him.
So therefore,
we've never had a conversation.
No, I've been thinking about this a lot because I was eavesdropping on a therapist in a coffee shop the other day.
As you do. And that's the correct way to get therapy.
Exactly. And she was shit talking our clients, which was very funny.
That's awesome, dude.
And she was talking
Therapists are crazy.
But she used this like terminology of like people who have their energy very forward and very back.
Oh, yes.
And she was like, this person has like their energy very, very forward. So how I've come to like identify this is like, you can be outgoing or shy with both of these things. It's just about how you kind of present, where it's like somebody with a very forward energy, it's very easy to read them and to kind of like understand them. They articulate themselves, whether it be through words or not, but you always know exactly like where that person is. You can basically like understand them very clearly because they're sharing their feeling, whether it's verbal or nonverbal. Whereas like energy far back, they can be outgoing and talk a lot, but you're still like, but I don't know what you actually think about this. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a lot more of a secretive thing. I definitely feel like I've gotten better, but I used to be very far back energy, and I'm trying to bring the energy forward a bit. But I really can only fuck with people with really forward energy. Like I really don't ever want to guess where you land on anything. I would rather you be like, oh, Blair's not going to approve of this, but I know she'll tell me that she does, like that she doesn't approve of it, you know?
Yeah, I know. That's so interesting because I definitely think that I'm an energy forward but kind of shy person.
Yes, you can be like, it's not, it's the same thing as introvert, extrovert. Like it's not connected to being shy or outgoing.
Yes. What do you think you are? I think you're energy forward.
I think I'm forward with people I'm close with, but I think I can have a tendency to keep it far back if I feel like threatened, if that makes sense. Like the wall can come up very fast, but I'm trying to not do that anymore. I'm definitely introverted, but I do think I'm outgoing because I've just kind of realized through my life that like nothing is weird. But I think people don't understand that I am shy. This is my biggest thing. I'm like, people think I'm a bitch, and it's just simply because I can be shy sometimes if I don't feel comfortable.
That's kind of like, I know I have this conversation a lot where I'm just like, I try to explain to people, it's like, no, like I'm outgoing because I've worked to be outgoing because I realize it improves my life. Where it's just like, I like to be alone and I'm a little shy. Like I take time to warm up to people.
Definitely.
But because of that, I've been like, oh, well, I want people to feel welcome. And so then I think people perceive me as really outgoing.
This is how I feel. I want people to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And I understand that like if I'm in a situation where somebody is standing alone, and if I'm like, hey, do you want to come and sit next to me? If that was me, I'd be like, fucking thank God.
Yes, like thank you so much.
So I try to do that.
It's the shy girls looking out for the shy girls.
This is exactly it.
Yes.
I do think one of my better qualities is like being able to like understand, or if somebody's getting like spoken over or whatever. Like I feel like I'm good at like picking up when the shy girls are getting railroaded.
Because also like I find it really difficult to have conversations with people that are really just kind of like too like steamrolly, like are too used to kind of like just talking for the sake of talking, where I'm just like, oh my God, like I need everyone to take a step back and like listen for a freaking minute.
Yes.
Like we're going to listen to the episode today.
We are going to listen to the episode today. I want to talk about one more thing, and it's going to take really quick, and then we're going to start. I have been for literally months and months telling you we need to talk about the Great Gatsby musical on the podcast.
Oh my God.
I've been following, this is of course the Great Gatsby musical on Broadway because there are two warring productions because the Great Gatsby has entered the public domain.
Which is crazy. That feels like it's not long ago enough.
100 years.
100 years.
That's which crazy. Is really crazy.
Can't believe they had cars back then.
I know.
Crazy.
I know.
It's nuts.
So they have one that's on Broadway starring Jeremy Jordan and Iba Noblezada. Who my sister sat near when watching Six on Mirvish.
Amazing.
Which is fucking iconic. And it's a much more kind of like basic kind of classic musical adaptation. Just a more classic, like it's like a very like cut and dry, not bad, but you know what I mean? It's like a very much like we're not reinventing the wheel here. We're just putting the Great Gatsby up. Two things to know about this production is that, first of all, they kind of have tried to girl bossify Daisy.
They should.
And been like, she needs to have her own agency, blah, 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 blah. And also, they've created this they haven't created, but they've made the romance between Gatsby and Daisy like the centerpiece of this book about class struggle.
Whoa, no one's ever over-prioritized a heterosexual relationship in a book that's inherently a metaphor and satire of class.
I know.
Wow.
And then there's one that's in Cambridge, Massachusetts with the music written by Florence of Florence and the Machine.
That's cool.
And apparently that one's quite good. Like that one's like trying to like do a new thing.
That's cool.
Whatever.
That's cool.
So the new musical, the Great Gatsby musical is open on Broadway, that first one. I'm obsessed with it. I've been following it. There's one song that they keep releasing. It's called Roaring On, and it's got the craziest lyrics ever. It's like, if there is a party, there's a party somewhere, and then another party, we go party somewhere, and there's a party over here, and a party over there, and everyone's a party. That's fucking how it sounds.
All night, I've been drinking all night, I've been drinking all night, I've been drinking
There's a lyric in it where they go, we live for today, we pay off the cops, and then all the ensemble members put their little wrists forward for like a handcuff. We pay off the cops. I'm obsessed with it. I can't fucking wait to see it.
That's excellent.
It's getting crazy bad reviews.
Awesome.
Great cast. It's just that the book is not.
Is it? You were telling me earlier that something happened at the premiere. Do you want to?
Yes. And I'm not making light of this. I just want to talk about the inherent symbolism of it. Okay. So a person got hit by a Tesla on self-drive mode. Don't laugh, Blair. Somebody got hit by a Tesla on self-drive mode at the Great Gatsby premiere. Literally, spoiler alert, the book's 100 years old. Somebody gets hit by a fucking fancy-ass car in the book.
Yeah.
And at the premiere, I mean, to get hit by a Tesla in front of Jeremy Jordan is a fucking
That's
nightmare.
awesome.
That's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. But isn't that crazy?
That was honestly, I laughed a lot now, but I laughed even harder when I came in and Carla was immediately like, someone got hit by a Tesla at the premiere of the Great Gatsby musical. I will also say one more thing I want to see on Broadway is the new Romeo and Juliet, starring Rachel Zegler.
Oh my God.
And Kit Connor.
Yes.
Who we fan casted.
You fan casted. Don't
you
take
helped.
the credit, girl. Girl, take the credit.
But we, mostly me, fan casted them in if we remade the Titanic. So we kind of predicted that casting. Is that not crazy?
I feel, who the fuck is watching this podcast who's on like Rachel Zegler's team?
This is what I'm saying. Rachel Zegler's agent.
Watching.
We know you're watching. Rachel Zegler, come on our podcast.
We haven't forgot about it. We just chilled out because we have to make 100 episodes of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. We can't get accused of harassment.
No, exactly. Not in this day and age.
We love you, Rachel Zegler. We'd love to come see your show. Just saying. And we'd love if you came on the
kids
podcast.
are fucked.
The kids are not all right.
Oh, yeah, we can't talk about it because I do want to see it and I'm sure it's good. It's just the poster's giving Canva.
The poster's giving like edit of like the movie came out and was serious and then someone on Tumblr made it into like a aesthetic edit.
Yes, it's very much I'm excited about it because it is very much evocative of like 2014 American Apparel Tumblr.
It's giving Baz Herman.
Exactly. That's like I did a project in like my grade 11 media class where you had to like re-edit a movie trailer and I did Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but if it was like Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's very much the vibe I'm getting right now. I showed my manager the poster and she was like, it looks like this Romeo and Juliet is going to take place in a nightclub. Like, and I was like, I might. And
it's like the wedding we're invited to this summer where it's in a club and the theme is slut.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I can't wait.
I'm so excited. Are you coming? Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Great.
I'm coming.
Okay, great. We'll go together.
Okay.
That'll be fun.
We'll pre
for our slut wedding in a club. I'm excited for that.
I know. I actually can't
wait.
This
is what we were talking. We were complaining about different other weddings we have to attend. If you set your wedding in a club and the theme is slut, I'm excited to fucking go.
I'm so there.
I'm actually excited to go as opposed to like hauling ass across province.
Yeah. Anyway.
Shall we talk about the Salem witch trials?
Yes. And I'm excited for this one. I've been excited for, honestly, this whole season. Has been a blast for me. I will say, but this one I'm particularly excited for.
Yeah, I was doing the script earlier today and I was really having a lot of fun with it.
Okay,
it was I was learning a lot, but also retreading old territory. It was very good. Shall we just get into it?
I'm ready. Let's freaking dive in.
Okay. So, of course, today we're talking about the Salem witch trials in pop culture.
Pop culture.
Pop culture.
Pop culture.
So there's a lot. Like, it's really... I haven't done everything because if I did everything, we would quite simply be here for 18 hours.
Yes.
I have decided to focus on some of the earliest depictions.
Okay.
And then just some of the choice ones in the modern day that I think are fun, like Hocus Pocus or whatever.
Okay,
do you know what I mean?
Love.
So we're going to talk about the first bound novel, like the first published novel that was like, I don't know, it wasn't like a leaflet on the street about the Salem witch trials. Okay. And then we're also going to go a bit into Gothic literature because it ties back to Gothic literature.
And you have been teasing wanting to talk about Gothic literature for
fucking ever.
Actually, truly since the first day I met you. You were like, by the way,
I would
love someday to talk at you about Gothic literature.
And that day is today, Blair.
I'm waiting.
I'm about to talk at you.
No.
So the earliest depiction in pop culture, we only converse at.
We only converse at each other.
Yes.
With love.
Love and respect and love and light.
Love and light.
So the first depiction is a novel called Rachel Dyer, A North American Story by John Neal, published in 1828. Okay. I know. It's the first bound novel about the Salem witch trials. And it is a piece of Gothic literature. So Gothic literature, basically, it took place, it like spanned from like 1764 until the 1820s. This is the very end of it, okay?
I love.
Let's get into Gothic literature. So the attributes of Gothic literature, it's like basically like not an age, but like a movement.
Yes.
So it's very like atmospheric and setting focused, very like foggy and gloomy and spooky. A lot of times they take place in these like old mansions, or
and like The Cure is playing in the background.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's very vibe based. There are elements of the supernatural. In some way, inexplicable things.
Okay, love.
There's lots of romance and melodrama, and they oftentimes focus on women in distress.
What is like, would you say is the most like famous Gothic literature? Like,
there's like famous ones that like if you were talking to somebody who's an expert in Gothic literature, they'd be like, it's actually this.
Yeah.
But I would say in the modern day, like Wuthering Heights.
Okay, yes.
Because it's like the Heathcliff is very like kind of an anti-hero, but Kathy is very like,
and it's very moody.
Exactly, it's very, very moody. We've got the Moors. It's very depressing.
Like a point of reference.
Exactly. We're going to talk about Frankenstein, which is at the very end as well. Kind of a Gothic novel, but it doesn't really follow the same conventions. Like Northanger Abbey and a lot of novels that kind of we see like later in our culture are like takes on the Gothic novel because they were these very like pulpy, dramatic.
For sure.
Books. Like it's about like a woman that's usually like obsessed with her love and wants to die. I mean, this is a spoiler alert for Wuthering Heights, but that was again published fucking years ago. But like she like throws herself on his fucking coffin or whatever when he's in the ground or whatever. It's like that kind of fucking energy of like super, super emotional.
Yeah.
People aren't really acting logically.
It's like Saltburn, the fucking the grave scene.
It's very
but like
much
what it wanted to be.
Not as good vibes. Like, do you know what I mean? Like Saltburn has like a filter, a sepia on it. It's got a visco filter.
I love this.
This is like the Twilight filter.
Twilight filter.
But on Saltburn.
Okay, amazing.
That's kind of the vibe that we're thinking about
love
here.
Love this.
Gothic horror specifically is like a horror subsect of it, but a lot of these novels are like have like horror elements. And if you know anything about horror, basically it's like the horror of the time. The horror reflects the anxieties of the time, which is why we're seeing a lot of like very like socially conscious horror movies now, where it's
and now we're getting the disease horror movies.
Exactly. We're getting the disease horror movies before it's like Get Out and these like horror movies that are kind of like talking about like what we're thinking about right now, which is like
reflects the culture.
Exactly. So at the time, we're kind of coming out of this romanticism period. So it's like this love of nature and this real, like, it's like a real appreciation of beauty. And we're also going into science, which is really, science just dropped. And that's
science just dropped, and it's
pretty scary. Science is massive. Science is huge, and it just dropped. So we have a lot of like the anxieties of these focus on not understanding how things work and like, should humans play God? Like, what is fate? It's like all these ideas.
Replicating like what is going on with AI right now, I feel.
Yes.
You know, where it's like we're very kind of confused. We don't have all the answers. So like we're talking about it like it's a horror story.
Yeah, exactly. It's very much that. Generally, to like water it down, it's basically fear of the unknown in one way or another. Okay? So there's two little terms I want to talk about in Gothic literature before we get into specifically like how this relates to the Salem witch trials and Rachel Dyer. Okay? So first we have the sublime, which relates more to romanticism. And it's basically this idea of like, it's a good feeling, but it's like when you see something so beautiful that it actually kind of like inspires like fear in you. You know what I mean? When you're seeing like, when you look at the ocean.
When you see a siren.
Exactly. You're like, wow, this is so, it's unfathomable how beautiful it is. It actually kind of inspires dread.
Yeah, you see an eclipse.
It's literally what I was reading this. I was like, that's how I felt when I saw the eclipse, where I was like, oh my God, this is I can't even really articulate it. Whereas opposed to like these philosophers said that like beauty is just like things being arranged and you feel like, oh, that's really beautiful. But like sublime should basically be like the most a human can feel. Like it should just be like you should be overcome with emotion at this very thing. So that's kind of the positive of it. Then we also have the uncanny. And the uncanny.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Exactly. You might know Uncanny Valley. Think about Sonic the Hedgehog's CGI teeth. You know what I mean? That's what the uncanny is.
I forgot about that.
So it's popularized by Sigmund Freud, and it is a feeling brought on by fear and intellectual uncertainty. It is the opposite of feeling comfortable, and it occurs when everything that ought to have remained hidden and secret has become visible.
Okay.
So it's this fear from basically coming from being like, oh, that's not right.
Yes.
I should not have seen that. Dracula is also sometimes considered to be a Gothic novel. And there's a scene in Dracula where the narrator watches Dracula crawl up the side of a building. And I remember reading that and being like, that's fucked.
That's scary.
Like, that's uncanny.
Yeah.
So I still think about that, him climbing up the side of the wall. And that's the same kind of thing of like, you're like, well, I shouldn't see this. I'm not supposed to be seeing this.
Mm-hmm.
They also say that's often why like people are so grossed out by like gore, because you're like, I should not be seeing the inside of humans because like the guts should stay inside, if that makes sense. That kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Same with, you know what's a good example for me is those like real life baby dolls.
Yes. And you're like, that's not right.
It's like,
no, not right. It's just like something's off. It feels very wrong.
Yeah,
and that's like a big part of Gothic horror, being like, oh.
It's like almost what you think should be correct, but like one thing's off.
Very much of just being like, something is weird about this. Like, it's not like fear brought on by somebody wielding a sword at you.
Yeah.
It's being like, oh, this is
that like unsettling.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like everything with Gothic literature is almost like very subtle in the way that it inspires like horror and dread, which I really appreciate in a genre.
Yeah, it's very atmospheric.
Yes.
Which is very, very fun.
It's a good word for atmospheric.
Atmospheric. Okay. And I also, what's really interesting about like Gothic horror is kind of like how it's brought on. And like when I was writing this, I was like, this is so interesting because like all of the novels that are being written now, we can't really see as a part of a movement. But in like 50 years, they'll be like, oh, that was a part of that movement. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like that's kind of crazy to think about. And it'll be because of certain factors that haven't been like seen yet. We're not seeing the full picture.
Yeah, but like you
which will be kind of crazy to think about.
You see it all together and you're like the whole like early YouTube book vibe, John Green kind of inspired stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that was like
I know
a thing that we didn't realize was happening.
Yeah, we're like, what? This is normal. And then you're like, no, girl.
Oh, no, that was weird.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about this in relation to Frankenstein by Mary Shelley.
Ooh,
and just the story of that being written, which I think really like encapsulates Gothic horror, and then we'll just go into the rest of pop culture. But I just think it's really interesting because I'm going to draw back eventually why it makes sense that so much kind of Gothic horror novels were the first kind of instances of the Salem witch trials being described. Like it makes sense to me in my brain.
For sure.
So the first bullet point says, I just think the story is interesting, so I'm telling it. So on April 5th, 1815, Mount Tambora, a volcano on the island of Sumbawa, Indonesia, erupts.
Okay.
Now, I have no gauge for volcano eruptions.
No, I kind of didn't think they happened anymore.
Yes. But I looked into it, and this was the most deadly volcano eruption in recent human history.
Oh, Jesus.
The famous Victorian geologist Charles Lyell described it as one of the most frightful eruptions in recorded history.
Did he see it?
Well, I don't know. No, he's just a geologist. This happened for 4 months. Which I didn't know was a thing, but they erupt for like months and months and months.
That's
and months,
horrifying.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
There's also like, I was talking to Reese about this because I was like, did you know that volcanoes erupt for 4 months? And he was like, yes. And I was like, well, I didn't. So I'm learning a new thing every day.
I knew they could erupt for a long time. I didn't realize they could erupt for months.
Yeah, and there's a place like in like Helsinki, like just north of Helsinki, that like this volcano is like, I might erupt. And they just don't know like when it will erupt. In like the next 100 years, it could just like erupt. So of the population of the surrounding province of Tambora, which was around 12,000.
Okay.
26 people survived.
Jeez.
Yes. It was 7,000 times more explosive than Mount St. Helen and 4 times more explosive than Krakatoa.
Okay.
And in addition to just like exploding, it also like was said to have killed in the following months over 100,000 people just because like the water was poisoned, the crops were failing, all these different things. You can get really sick from just like the air being fucked up. Like it wasn't just like if you get hit by a fucking lava droplet. It's a million different ways you can die.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people died in Europe.
Oh no.
Because I know. Because it sent 2 million tons of rock, volcanic ash, and sulfur into the atmosphere, basically creating a massive cloud for the following years that covered the sun. And this was in April. So you're like, fucking harvest season, let's go. Crops all fail. There's frost in the summer in Europe. Famine.
Oh my God.
Political upheaval because of famine.
Oh my God.
Thunderstorms constantly. Foggy, rainy, constantly.
That's
horrible
horrifying.
weather. Vibes? bad.
Vibes pretty stinky.
And what do you do if the vibes are stinky?
You're like, I'm going to write a banger
Yeah, if
novel.
you're Mary Shelley. If you're Mary Shelley, you go on a messy vacation with your GSA to Lake Geneva in Switzerland.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So Mary Shelley was, I think, 20-ish at the time. She was 21 when Frankenstein gets published.
That's
and
crazy.
It was 1816. She travels to Lake Geneva, Switzerland with her lover/husband, Percy Shelley, their 4-month-old baby.
Oh my God.
And her stepsister, Claire Claremont. Pretty fucking iconic name.
Cool.
So Claire Claremont at the time was pregnant with Lord Byron's child.
Okay.
So who is Lord Byron, you ask? Chaotic bi icon, romantic poet, super famous guy. Basically spread his motherfucking seed all across Europe. Bunch of illegitimate children.
Iconic.
Also heavily bisexual, had sex with men. Didn't know that until after his death, but like those who know, know.
Like, you know.
His wife coined the term biromania to refer to the sensation surrounding him because just everyone wanted to fuck him. Which if you've been a bi man, checks out.
Checks out.
Absolutely.
I had a dream about one of my bisexual friends last night.
Whoa.
And we were going to Ghana together to go to the beach. And then 2 of my friends told me not to go, who I won't name them because they were being very rude to me. They told me not to go. And then when I went to get the plane to Ghana, my bisexual friend James was on a different flight time and he made me fly to Ghana by myself. And then I woke up.
That sucks. So you kind of get biromania.
I kind of get biromania because
it's being kind of jerked around by a bisexual man.
Yeah, like why? And I texted her. I was like, it's weird that in my dream you picked a different flight time for me, even though it was a long flight.
And I would like to have flown together.
And I would like to have gotten to Ghana together.
But I guess it's fine.
To get the hotel. I don't even know where the hotel is.
So what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, so now we're fighting.
Yes. So at the time, Lord Byron had left Europe entirely, following a bunch of gossip and shame because he divorced his wife and then had an affair with his half-sister.
He's awesome, dude.
We should do.
I actually do know him as a historical figure, and I have loved him. So
we should do an
We
should do an ep on the history of Lord Byron.
Having your wife just be like, yeah, it's Byromania.
He cheated on me with his half-sister. It's not great,
Just
but it is what happened.
Spreading his seed.
Yes. But if you'll recall, Claire is pregnant with his child as well.
Okay, yes.
And a lot of the historical retellings of this are like, Claire was obsessed with him and trying to track him down. And to that I say, she had his child and she would maybe want some money.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't really blame her.
So she's like, hey, Mary, do you want to come with me to Lake Geneva? Because he has a house there and we'll just like go and like see if he comes back or if he's there or whatever. And Mary Shelley goes, yes, let's pack up the 4-month-old baby. Let's go grab Percy Shelley, the poet. Let's hit the fucking town.
It's like the equivalent of being like, do you want to walk up and down my ex's old street?
And they're like, yeah.
It's like, yeah.
I would love to walk up and down your ex's old street for you.
Yeah,
just
we can
see
like
if they're
sit
there.
in the park, just see if they're hanging around, see what they're up to.
Exactly.
Or if they look like shit now.
I hope they look like shit.
I hope they look like shit.
Yes. So the weather was awful while they were there. So they go up there and they are, I believe are staying in a house on Lord Byron's like compound. Pardon me.
Okay, cool.
But like not like, I don't know how rich people be, but you know what I mean? There's a bunch of houses.
There's houses.
But the weather is so fucking bad. This is in May, so it should be nice, but it's thunderstorming the entire time. They have to stay inside the entire time. Lord Byron rolls in with his personal doctor, which to me sounds like another word for lover.
Yes.
You know how you just have a...
no,
he's my doctor!
The nurse costume, it's because she's a doctor.
Yeah, it's a man, though.
A nurse costume is because he's a doctor. Sort of slutty little slut outfit.
This is my, he's my personal doctor.
He's my lamp floor, doctor.
Like, I'm like, okay, personal doctor for what? Girl, you're fine.
Personal
Okay?
doctor for my penis.
For your penis. So the gang descends upon Lord Byron's house. Lord Byron comes back into Europe after having an affair with his half-sister, with his doctor/gay lover. Not confirmed by history, confirmed by me. Just a vibe I get.
Just off a vibe.
If you're just traveling around with a doctor, I'm like,
you know when someone's taken a slutty gay doctor lover.
Exactly. And
just,
as they
you have
should.
a glow about you.
Yes. So a bit about Mary Shelley. She eloped with her husband, Percy Shelley, at age 17 and was disowned by her intellectual family.
Okay.
Her mother was Mary Stone Wollstonecraft, who was a famous feminist writer.
Oh, okay.
But who died when Mary was young or even in like childbirth. Like she died when she was really young. And Mary lost her virginity on her mother's grave.
She's so cool.
Metal as
I love Mary Shelley.
Yes. So
And her
awesome.
mother would like that.
No, you have to respect it. So Percy and Byron are friends and they get along quite well because they're fans of each other's work.
Dicks.
Gay.
Sounds pretty gay to me.
Yes. And the weather was so bad that all they could do is stay inside all day. And it's basically the vibe of you go to a cottage with someone and you're like, fucking summer, let's go. And it rains the whole time. And by the end, everyone wants to fucking kill each other. Yeah,
you're just playing Scrabble and getting more and more angry.
It's that. Exactly. Yeah. Byron is getting annoyed with Claire because she's there and she's like, I'm having your baby. Like, what's going on? Okay. The gay doctor is making sexual advances on Mary Shelley and she's like, no. Percy Shelley is depressed. It's just bad.
Checks out. He's the poet of the group.
Bad vibes, top to bottom. Okay, so Lord Byron's like, okay, new challenge. Because they're all inside, it's thunderstorming, it's gray outside. We've been reading ghost stories. Everyone has to write a better ghost story than the ghost stories we've read.
Okay.
And Mary Shelley goes, hold my drink.
This is how like Hamilton got started. Lin-Manuel was at a cottage.
Exactly, and he was like, wait a second.
What does a bastard orphan son of a whore?
He puts his pistol to the sky. Wait! Wait!
Life doesn't discriminate.
Sin isn't the same taste.
So she says, hold my drink.
Yes. And after a couple nights, they keep being like, what's your idea, Mary? And she doesn't have one, whatever. And then she's like, wait. And then she writes Frankenstein, a modern Prometheus.
Love.
Banger title.
Yeah.
And the rest is basically history. If you haven't read Frankenstein, you definitely should. It's a lot different than you would think it would be. Yeah. It's like the first science fiction novel, but basically it's like about the doctor who creates a man out of dead body parts. But part of it is written from the perspective of the monster who's like really has a lot of anxiety. It's very much like about parenthood. And you can tell because she has a 4-month-old daughter of like this anxiety of like being created and what am I created for and am I a monster? And this anxiety of the doctor being like, did I create a monster? Also this idea of like, does science let us play God? Fucking awesome. Okay?
A really good book.
So now I'm going to tell you the plot of this gothic horror. Now that you've got a background into gothic horror, the plot of this Salem witch trials gothic horror.
Okay, love, excited.
It's fucking insane.
So the sky is gray.
Exactly. So the plot follows George Burroughs, who is now half Mohawk.
Okay.
That doesn't really come back, except for one time he's running away from the persecutors and hides by wearing full Mohawk traditional garb.
Okay.
Why?
Cool.
Why? I don't know.
At least they were just like, well, he can't culturally appropriate.
That we obviously can't culturally appropriate.
We can't have cultural appropriation.
It's 1820.
Yeah, it's 1820.
No.
Please.
So he comes back to Salem to defend women during the Salem witch trials.
Okay, good for him.
During Sarah Cloyce's trial, a new character emerges called Rachel Dyer.
Okay.
Okay.
Love that her last name literally means like bad situation.
Yes.
Wondering what's going to happen with her.
She's described as a hunchback redhead.
Okay, so me, rude.
You need to get this fucking book to Reese Witherspoon ASAP so she can option this for Hello Sunshine.
Hugo, come on.
She can option this for Hello Sunshine and you can star in an Amazon original.
I was saying, me, a redhead with scoliosis.
So, Rachel Dyer is in love with George Burroughs and jealous of all the women in town who are more beautiful than she for their feelings towards George Burroughs. Okay. It's actually very much giving Alexander Hamilton in Hamilton of every single woman character is in love with him.
Me, I loved him. The three, they say, every man gets a line, and then the three women.
I fought with him. I died for him. Me, I loved him.
Said in a chorus of 3. The only women in that intro song.
And me?
I'll drop it.
I'm the damn fool that shot him.
There's a million things I haven't done.
We should honestly do a history of Hamilton
episode.
That could be fun.
Let's go.
Okay.
And then we say it's a history of Hamilton and we just kind of sing through from memory all of Hamilton.
And then part of it's like, wait, is it Cabinet Battle 2 now? Or is it Dear Theodosia?
I skip over the cabinet battles.
I think you're skipping over the cabinet battles and we have to do the cabinet battles.
1, 2,
when we were on death's door, when we were needy. We signed a contract. We signed a treaty. We needed guns and money and half a chance. And who provided those funds? France. It's not 100% right, but it's close.
No, that's good. That's good.
So Rachel Dyer, jealous of all the women in the town for their feelings towards George Burroughs. But during this trial of Sarah Cloyce, Rachel Dyer is like, wait, no. She's she's defending all these women, even though she loves George Burroughs.
Okay, Rachel Dyer. She's like, oh my God.
She's a girl's girl. She's defending all the women, being like, no, that never happened. Then George Burroughs gets accused, and she defends George Burroughs, and she gets accused.
Okay.
And basically, it's this whole kind of thing of like, I don't know. So the Salem witch trials happen with just like random characters, all this stuff. But basically, at the end, everybody's like, wow, this ugly woman has a heart of gold, and she defended us the whole time when she didn't have to. George Burroughs gets hanged, and Rachel Dyer dies in her cell in prison, clutching a Bible.
Oh, Jesus.
And that act of martyrdom, the fact that a woman who was ugly was so kind, ends the Salem witch trials.
Whoa. Okay.
So this was not a successful book, and the author never saw a second publication in his lifetime. Needless to say.
Yeah, that's rough.
But how does this all relate? So it makes sense that some of the earliest depictions of the Salem witch trials we see in Gothic literature, because Gothic literature is a genre that deals with the feelings of fear that come from a lack of understanding things, and also fear that comes from ugly hidden aspects of stuff being revealed, which both relate to the Salem witch trials. Of not only are you like, we don't understand this. It's how we kind of feel now, and I think why like true crime podcasts are so popular. People just being like, I need to understand why this is happening. I don't understand why this is happening. And also, exactly. And also being like, these are such ugly parts of humanity that are being revealed. And that's uncanny. It's creepy that this is happening. Okay. Now we're going to go into the next section of pop culture, which is classic Hollywood witch romcoms.
Yes. I was hoping we'd cover classic Hollywood witch romcom.
Absolutely. So when I was looking at depictions of the Salem witch trials in pop culture, there was a lot basically spanning from like the end of the 1920s into the 1960s almost, of just like random rom-coms about a man falling in love with a witch.
Okay.
Relating to Salem.
Well, I used to watch Bewitched as a kid. Do you remember this?
Yes. Okay, so the creator of Bewitched, two of these was the inspiration for Bewitched.
Oh,
two
no
of these
way.
movies,
Okay.
which makes sense when you hear about them. Because the first one isn't really. It's just like it was in 1937, called Maid of Salem, starring Claudette Colbert and Fred McMurray.
Okay.
I don't know them. But I'm not plugged into...
You don't know Claudette and Fred? You don't know Claudette and Fred McMurray?
No.
Claudette Colbert and
So do you
Frank
know...
McMurray?
You know them?
No. No fucking clue.
So it's basically just about a young woman accused of witchcraft in Salem, and she gets saved by her lover.
Awesome.
Or whatever. Very gothic. It has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. I feel like didn't even know that was possible, and I feel like we can move past that. Literally didn't even know the website did that.
Yeah, didn't realize that was a thing. That's too bad.
Moving on to I Married a Witch from 1942, starring Veronica Lake and Frederick March.
Oh, Veronica and Fred.
Absolutely. Now, a beautiful 17th century witch returns to life after being murdered in the Salem witch trials to plague a politician, Wallace Woolley, who was a descendant of her prosecutor or her persecutor.
Yes. Oh my God, it's kind of like the plot of Good Omens.
What's that?
It's kind of exactly that. It's like it's the descendant of the witch. And then she goes after she gets with the guy as the descendant of her prosecutor or something. But then also David Tennant's there. And that's a whole, you know what? Forget I brought that up.
No, I love it.
I'm forgetting the plot of Good
That's
Omens.
okay.
It was a great show, though. Rob's watched it.
No.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Rob hasn't watched it.
But they're like angels or they're demons. It's Michael Sheen
Yeah.
and David Tennant. It's why they have a
Okay.
bromance.
Yeah.
It's a Neil Gaiman thing.
I know them because they do press together and they're like best friends.
Yes.
Okay, that I've seen. That's kind of trickled down through the old
Go through
Carley.
a few layers.
Exactly. Now the witch's name is Jennifer, which already I'm like, I don't buy that.
There's no, we know this. They were all named Goody.
Yeah, well, this is the weird thing of like, it's interesting. You can really tell who's like done their research and who hasn't done their research and is just fucking vibing it
Like,
out.
her name will be Jennifer.
Because so often they have in these like women getting burned at the stake, and you're like, no, that's
if
not
you
here.
did your research, you would know that you didn't. You didn't.
Exactly. So Jennifer and her father, who she's a witch and he's a warlock,
That's awesome.
are burned at the stake during the Salem witch trials. And Jennifer curses the man who persecutes her. So I wrote prosecute, but it's not. It's persecute.
Persecute. Okay.
And all of his male descendants are now cursed to marry the wrong women.
Nice.
Got him.
As they should.
So all of these men are cursed to marry shrewish, mean women who yell at them. Yes. Can you imagine a fate worse than death?
No, that's awful.
Absolutely.
Unless you're into that kind of thing.
Exactly. So then she comes back and tortures him in like the modern day. So Jennifer reincarnates herself.
I kind of love her.
But she falls in love with him.
Okay.
Fixes the election in his favor. So that even his opponent votes for him. Because she's publicly done magic, her father takes her powers away, but she doesn't care and marries him.
Okay, that's rude.
Sucks.
I hate this movie now.
I know. I hate this movie. I was like, when I read the description, I was like, okay. And then I was like, come on.
No, that's rude. That's rude. I do love, one of my favorite tropes is like the opponent in the election accidentally voting for the person they're running against. They do that in Parks and Recreation where Paul Rudd votes for Leslie Knope.
Yeah.
He's just like, you can't vote for yourself.
You can't vote for yourself.
That'd be rude.
Yeah.
That'd be rude if you vote for yourself.
So the thing that I think is interesting about this is that March and Lake, the two leads on this production, on the picture, if you will, hated each other.
Awesome. And you can tell through that damn god-awful script.
Exactly. So they constantly fought during production. Before they started recording, March made a comment about Veronica Lake, saying that she was a brainless little blonde sexpot void of any acting ability. Your future coworker, by the way.
My God.
Like, you know you're gonna see her.
Yeah, you know that you're gonna have to talk to her after
like
you said
somebody's
this.
like, Carley, are you excited to record the episode with Blair? And I'm like, I don't know. She's a brainless little blonde sexpot devoid of any podcasting ability. And then you're like, girl, I'm gonna run into you.
Hey, I'm on the porch. I can hear you.
And then Veronica Lake retaliated by calling March a pompous poser. Okay. So whatever.
She could have come up with something better.
I know, but
I'm kind of on his side with that.
Yeah, he's a blonde sexpot. But things didn't get better while they were shooting the film. Lake was prone to playing practical jokes on March. She hid 40-pound weights in her dress for a scene where March had to carry her. And pushed her foot repeatedly into his groin during filming from a waist-up shot. So that just made me laugh. I was like, guys, you're at work. 40-pound fucking weights in your dress.
No one pranks anymore.
I know.
Because it cancels
George
culture.
Clooney wishes.
George Clooney wishes he could prank Salma Hayek in that
by putting 40-pound weights in his cuffs.
Suit when she has to pick him up. He's like, try to pick me up. She's like, why?
I don't have to for the movie.
I don't have to. No, you have to pick me up. Why?
I don't want to.
That's really funny.
And the final movie we're going to talk about is Bell, Book, and Candle.
Okay.
From 1958, starring Jimmy Stewart and Kim Novak.
Jimmy Stewart.
I know. I wrote Jimmy Stewart in parentheses, hot, and Kim Novak.
I feel like he has the same birthday as me.
Okay, I love that. See, I love a Taurus.
Love a Taurus.
I can't get enough of it.
Wait, let me check. I might be
Okay,
wrong.
I'll read this while you do that.
Yes.
It's a modern day witch, likes her neighbor, but despises his fiance, so she enchants him to love her instead. Yep. This was Jimmy Stewart's last romantic leading role, and it was a flop because it was not fun, but also not good, as the critics said. Which is
not fun and also not good.
It's a tough allegation to beat.
It's also a review I've gotten many times. Not fun and also not good.
It's not good, but also it's not fun.
You might have think.
And now we're going to move on to modern depictions after you tell me when Jimmy Stewart's birthday is.
Oh, it's May 20th, my birthday.
Hell yes.
We're birthday twins.
Taurus King. See, I'm drawn to a Taurus.
Yeah, he is 90 years older than me, though, so bit of a bummer there.
I know.
Actually, I really wasn't expecting that gap.
I saw Stop Making Sense, and I was talking to Reese about it afterwards, and I was like, the crush I have on David Byrne in that is like disgusting.
It's crazy.
But I was like, but he looks kind of like Reese. Like, I have such a type of man.
That's true. Yeah.
And I was like, but he's kind of a dick to the other talking heads, so I don't think I'd want to date him. And he's like, he's also like 70. And I was like, well, there's a lot of reasons we can't be together.
Yeah, you don't have to talk me out of it.
No, I'm not going after him.
Yeah, it's not like I was considering it and then you telling me what you can't because he's 70 has made me stop.
No, exactly. I just love a skinny boy with high cheekbones.
And moving on. And a big suit.
Big ass suit. Floppy body.
I'll tell you about friendship better than that.
I felt bad at that screening. Nobody was dancing except for one guy who did fucking laps of the audience during that running part.
That's awesome.
And I was like, it's so brave of you to do this, but we're all just in our seats like, what the fuck is happening?
Hey.
So, modern depictions. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Bom, dun, dun,
One of my favorite Harry Potter books. I think it's probably one of the best ones.
Yeah.
Published in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a reference to the witch trials in the book, in which Harry is looking like he's, okay, I'm just going to read the excerpt to you.
Okay.
They talk about the Salem witch trials. Harry moved the tip of his eagle feather quill down the page, frowning as he looked for something that would help him write his essay. Witch burning in the 14th century was completely pointless. Discuss. So that's this essay.
Because they put a freezing charm on the fire.
Yes, you fucking nerd. You fucking transphobe nerd. You turf. Non-magic people, more commonly known as muggles, were particularly afraid of magic in medieval times, but not very good at recognizing it. On the rare occasion that they did catch a real witch or wizard, burning had no effect whatsoever. The witch or wizard would perform the basic flame freezing charm and then pretend to shriek with pain while enjoying a gentle tickling sensation. Indeed, Gwendolyn the Weird enjoyed being burned so much that she allowed herself to be caught no less than 40 times in various disguises. So basically kind of saying that, like, if in the witch hunts in the fucking Harry Potter universe,
you would just get tickled.
Yeah, they weren't really being burned at the stake or whatever. Like, the people they just killed were, like, muggles or whatever.
Yeah.
Also, I haven't seen the Fantastic Beasts movies. I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the second one, which is apparently very, very, like, it's just about, like, magical Congress. And a big plot point.
What everyone was asking for.
Exactly. I'm like, JK, get a fucking grip, girl.
JK, you must be JKing.
JK, you must be JKing me right now. So part of the plot point for the second movie in the series is the Magical Congress of the United States of America was formed after the Salem witch trials so that wizards could better protect themselves. And one of the villains is the New Salem Philanthropic Society, who call themselves New Salemers, and it's a muggle group created to expose and destroy wizard kind.
Cool.
To fucking log on to pottermore.com.
The year 2024.
In the year 2024. They've renamed it too. It's like the online magical wizarding world or something. Because I type in Pottermore like a fucking ancient millennial.
Like a turf.
Exactly, like a turf would. And they're like, do you mean wizarding online or whatever it's called?
Shut up.
Did you ever take the Pottermore sorting quiz?
Oh, girl. I signed up for early access to Pottermore. I was on there 5 o'clock in the morning as soon as the website launched. I had one of the first 50 usernames.
What are you?
I can't remember. I was like, I'm a Gryffindor, obviously.
Okay, that makes sense.
But
I'm a Hufflepuff.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I was a Ravenclaw.
I could see Ravenclaw for you.
Yeah. Yeah, your Rob's a Ravenclaw.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that makes sense. Well, now that we've done that, moving on.
Also, the wizarding school in the U.S. is called the Salem Witches Institute in the Harry Potter universe. That's what they call it at the Triwizard Tournament.
Really?
Because
isn't it called like Ilvermony or something?
They made
later
that up,
on.
They made that up later when they're at their Triwizard Tournament in the first book. They walk by
me when you
when you brought it up. You've got me on this.
When you run into a turf in the bathroom. Hey girl, can I just get in here? Actually, in the Triwizard Tournament, they're referring to the American school is actually called the Salem Institute.
Yeah, there's a banner up. It's called the Salem Witches Institute.
Okay, so can I use the bathroom?
Also, the bathroom should stay for the same genders. And also show me your genitals right now.
This is the world JK wants. This is the future JK wants.
You can't bring up Harry Potter trivia with me because I'll get all of it right. It's not good.
I know, you're the only person, I feel like I have a very good memory for that kind of stuff, and I do remember a lot of, the part of my brain that's just forever will have Harry Potter trivia in it, even though it's not important, is crazy.
Yeah,
and you know so much.
It's insane.
The amount that you know is insane.
Yeah. I could probably tell you what chapter that the passage.
Oh my god!
But I won't.
Okay, let's just move on to Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, we have to move on.
The movie in 1993, 3 sisters played by gay icons Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy.
Inspired
Canadian
casting.
icon, Second City alum, Toronto.
Inspired
casting. They all play witch sisters.
Sarah Jessica Parker is so hot in that.
She's so hot.
It's insane. And they know.
They're
making her the hot one.
They know they're making her the hot one. Her clav is out, just clavicle bare. The sexiest part of the body.
She's clavicling.
She's clavicling, serving clav, if you will.
Serving clav. She's claving all over the place.
She's claving all over the place. They're witches, and they turn a man into a black cat. Because they were cursing his girlfriend or whatever, and then they get burned at the stake. And they cast a spell that allows them to be resurrected during the full moon of All Hallows Eve, and they come back, and it's a kids' movie, and it's very fun. It begins with the Salem witch trials, and is also shot on location in Salem, Massachusetts.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yes. Next.
Okay.
Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, 1999. I brought this up when we were doing research for this in the very beginning, because this is the movie. When I was 4 years old, I was very anxious. Not like now. Now I'm good.
No, now you're really famously chill.
Really
and
normal.
Take everything with a grain of salt and
chill.
Can handle everything.
C'est la vie, as the French would say.
C'est la vie bohème.
C'est la vie bohème.
That's what they say. In
Absolutely.
French.
And
in the Alps.
My mom was basically trying to make a deal with me to get me to sleep in my own bed. So if I slept in my own bed for 10 nights in a row, I got to watch Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. And as a child, I was like, fuck. And now I'm like, girl, 10 nights in a row.
You should have been out of that bed sleeping somewhere else.
Well, I was like, what's wrong with me? Like, I should have been put on fucking Xanax at 4.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't sleep in my own bed for 10 nights in a row.
Yeah, that's rough.
But the Scooby and the Witch's Ghost is the second, 2 DVD Scooby-Doo release.
That's awesome.
It's like a movie, but it's more so like a long cartoon episode, okay? And it is, I'm not going to tell you exactly what happens in the entire thing because it's a wonderful watch and you should watch it, but let's just say it's the second Scooby-Doo at-home release that uses supernatural elements. So magic is real. You know how Scooby-Doo's whole kind of thing is that magic isn't real. It's not real. And actually, if you just do the mystery and you solve the mystery, it's humans making magic seem real.
No, this one is actually the witch's ghost is here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Love when Scooby-Doo does that.
Exactly. So after solving a mystery in a San Francisco museum, horror writer Ben Ravencroft invites Mystery Inc. to his hometown of Oak Haven. And Oak Haven has been turned into a tourist attraction focusing on Sarah Ravencroft, Ben's ancestor, who was persecuted as a witch and executed by the Puritan townspeople.
Oh, geez.
So it's giving Salem witch trials.
It's giving Salem witch trials.
Now,
very
Ben
much.
says that she was just a Wicca, not a witch.
Okay.
And she shouldn't have been
there's
killed.
Wicca in the Scooby-Doo universe.
Exactly. How much do we want to go into this? I'll go into the first act turn.
Okay.
Okay. So the ghost of Sarah chases Scooby and Shaggy.
No way. That's never happened. They never get chased.
And meanwhile, the rest of the gang attends a Hex Girls concert.
Yes.
Now, the Hex Girls are a lesbian goth witch band. And it's really a choose your own adventure of whatever kind of queer girl you're into. There's something for everyone. There's one with long hair who's mean. There's one with short hair who's spunky. There's one that's quiet. There's something for everyone.
Okay, that's awesome.
Exactly. Now, the Hex Girls made me gay.
Yeah.
Full stop.
I feel like I've seen this.
You have. You're a queer woman on the internet. You've seen the Hex Girls, I'm telling you. Okay? So as they're trying to solve
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Who are you?
I feel like I always am drawn to the blonde one.
Okay,
but I feel like I'm not the blonde one.
No, I'm drawn to the one with long hair who's mean, but I think I'm actually the blonde one.
Yeah. I'd have to watch it. I have to see them in action to get a sense of their energies.
There's nothing a 1990s cartoon love to do than have a single character be a light-skinned black woman and have her not say a fucking word the whole
that's
show.
awesome.
It's crazy.
They're just like, don't worry, she's there.
She's there, so you can't criticize us.
Don't worry, she's there.
She's there. She's not going to speak, but
don't worry.
She's there.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. We did it, guys.
Don't worry.
You're welcome.
Don't worry.
So Scooby finds a belt buckle that he thinks is a shoe buckle for a Puritan shoe.
Okay.
It's later revealed that that's actually the shoe to the spell journal of the ghost of Sarah.
Oh, okay.
And the ghost of Sarah has been released from her spell journal where she was trapped by her Wicca coven. And she was released by Ben, who believes that she was wrongly persecuted, but in actuality, she was just an evil witch.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you how the rest of it ends, but he was actually evil the whole time.
No spoilers.
But at the very end, everything is fixed, and then the Hex Girls absolutely jam out. Again,
That's awesome.
And 4-year-old me is like, we'll come back to this later.
And they eat some Scooby snacks.
Absolutely. Does anybody remember? So they did have Scooby snacks, which were, what time is it? Okay, we're fine. I'll wrap this up. They had these things that were called Scooby snacks, and they were gummies, right?
Oh, yeah.
But they also had a separate one that's been discontinued that was a graham cracker with cinnamon sugar on it in the shape of a dog bone. Does anyone remember this? Because I'm asking the listeners at home, because I remember it, and I can't find it anywhere.
This might have been something they just had in the States.
I know, but still, we have people from the States.
That's true. Americans, chime in.
Okay. So now we only have 3 more things to go over.
Okay.
We're going to go over American Horror Story Coven. Third season of American Horror Story. released in 2013. It follows a coven of witches in 2013 New Orleans as they fight for survival, as they are being hunted by witch hunters and on the precipice of war with practitioners of voodoo.
Okay, amazing. I need to watch this.
It's so fucking good. I rewatched it recently. It is so offensive, but quite funny.
This is what I've heard.
So they are all descendants of Salem witch trial survivors who either fled during the trials
witches they
or
couldn't
whatever.
burn.
Exactly. Now, one of the undercurrents of this season is they want to find out who the Supreme is. The Supreme is the leader of the witches and leads the coven. Mm-hmm. She is a master of the 7 wonders, which are 7 special powers. It's like bringing people back from the dead and being able to like fly or whatever. You have to do all 7 though.
Okay.
And witches die trying. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to read you just this cast and characters, and that's what I'm going to leave you with because this show fucking rocks. And just listen to this cast. Jessica Lange as Fiona Good.
Iconic.
The current Supreme, who is glamorous and bitchy, and she's dying of cancer, so she's trying to figure out who the new Supreme is so she can kill her and survive. Because the old Supreme dies as the new Supreme emerges.
Okay.
So she's like, I'm dying because there's a new Supreme. If I kill her, then I can remain Supreme and live.
Okay.
Sarah Paulson as Cordelia Good.
Huge.
Fiona's meek daughter who loves herbology. She's blinded by a witch hunter and gets the power of sight, like the future.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And she runs Miss Robichaux's Academy for Exceptional Young Ladies, the Witch Academy in New Orleans.
Yes.
Tessa Farminga as Zoe Benson, hipster Tumblr girl who discovers her witch powers that if she has sex with anyone, her vagina causes them to hemorrhage and die.
Yes.
Emma Roberts as Madison Montgomery, a famous actress who can move things with her mind and has an attitude problem. She constantly says offensive things. She is killed by Fiona because Fiona thinks she's the next Supreme, and she's brought back, and she does the like, surprise, bitch. Bet you thought you saw the last of me. That meme is from this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
She's very, very funny in this role. It's a very, very good role. And she says fucking really crazy shit though.
Okay, love.
Lily Rabe as Misty Day, who's a Stevie Nicks fan, and a swamp witch who can bring people back from the dead. Gabourey Sidibe as Queenie, a human voodoo doll who finds community with the voodoo witches because she's the only black witch at Miss Robichaux's Academy. Okay. She is a direct descendant of Tituba.
Cool.
She's great in this. And she has a lot of scenes with Kathy Bates, who plays Madame Delphine.
Okay.
Who is a slave owner from the past.
Oh my God.
Who used her slave's blood to not give her wrinkles. She put her blood as like not to give her wrinkles. But she was like a crazy abusive slave owner. Okay. But Marie Laveau, who is the queen of voodoo, cursed her to live forever and locked her in a box under the streets of New Orleans.
Okay.
So Fiona frees her because she wants to figure out how to stop aging. Okay. So it's just this racist woman from like the fucking 1700s or 1800s.
Comes back to tell her about Olay.
Exactly. It's coming back to the future. So, but she's so racist and horrible that Fiona basically gives Queenie, this like racist slave owner, as like a servant. And she's like, you have to serve Queenie the whole time because you're being so fucking racist. And there's like a lot of like really funny, like odd couple stuff here where there's just a scene of her watching Barack Obama give a speech on TV being like, oh no, what's happened? Like, it's just like funny writing. And one time to torture her, Queenie makes her watch an episode of Roots or whatever. Like it's like, they give them a lot to do. It's fun. Angela Bassett plays Marie Laveau, the Queen of Voodoo.
Awesome.
Acting her ass off.
Angela Bassett did the thing.
Viola Davis, my woman king. Evan Peters is Kyle Spencer, a frat bro who Madison kills on a bus after one of his frat brothers rapes her. She makes the bus flip with her mind and they all die, but then they bring him back to life, but because he's been dead for so long, he's giving zombie. Okay, cool. So Tessa can have, or like Zoe can have sex with him because her vagina causes people to hemorrhage because he's already dead.
Yes.
We also have Jamie Brewer as Nan, who is a witch with Down syndrome who can read minds, and her mother, played by Patti LuPone.
Oh my God.
It's great. You should watch it. It's one of my favorite American Horror Stories.
Okay, I have to watch
this. I've
never watched any American Horror Story. Really
it's a good one. It's a very good one. Okay, we also have Criminal Minds, season 9, episode 6, In the Blood. The PAU are called to Utah to investigate the murder of a woman who died by being crushed under stones.
No, like Giles Corey.
These ritualistic murders are revealed to be somebody recreating the murders of the Salem witch trials.
Cool.
Like the unsub, as we would say in Criminal Minds talk. Also, Penelope throws a Day of the Dead party.
I've never seen Criminal Minds, but every once in a while, someone who doesn't know me very well will come up to me and say, "You're just like Penelope from Criminal Minds."
That's not fair. To you.
No, it's not fair to me.
You would never wear a chunky kitschy necklace.
No, I would never wear a chunky necklace at all.
It's a very fun show. Obviously, we've talked about this on the podcast, how I was obsessed with it. And I'd come home every day after school because my parents work, and I would watch in the basement on the DVR an episode of Criminal Minds because I DVR'd it every single day.
Yes.
And I'd have a roast beef sandwich.
Huge.
I have an encyclopedic knowledge of Criminal Minds. I'm obsessed with it. And finally, we have The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yes.
Now, this is not the Sabrina the Teenage Witch. This is the modern adaptation written by the Riverdale guy. So it's in the same universe as Riverdale. Okay?
And that's good. Just like the comics are in the same universe.
Exactly. So a large portion of the plot of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is based off of the Salem witch trials, or rather Riverdale's version of this, which is called The Trial of the Greendale 16 or 13.
Yes.
These witches were brought to Greendale by Dorothea Putnam,
who
was a witch.
Oh my God, and she was related to Anne
But if you know, you know.
Jr., who's in the trials.
And she brought them over to colonial America from Scotland to escape persecution, but they were hunted by witch hunters in America as well. So the coven agreed to let the 13 witches who had already been captured by witch hunters be murdered in the hopes that it would satiate the witch hunters and colonists' like bloodlust.
Oh my God.
So this obviously angered the 13 women who
pissed everyone off.
Yes, exactly. And they were hanged, but then their like spirits come back to get revenge on the witches.
Okay, terrifying. Love
so
it.
that's the end of some of my favorite pop culture moments.
God.
Are you ready for the final segment?
Yes.
It's time to let's make this tragedy about us. My question for you, Blair, is give me a pitch for a piece of pop culture, film, TV, some kind of media that should be Salem witch trials adjacent.
Oh, this is really good. I have spoken about how I would really want to make like a Mean Girl style movie set in the Salem witch trials.
Yes.
However, I feel like I want something bigger than this. I feel like I want it to be like, I love the Descendants thing. Like I love the witches that we haven't burned
very
type
fun,
thing.
very fun.
So I feel like some type of like really like campy like Halloween style movie. Like I think I want to keep it kind of classic.
Okay, I love this.
Like a real kind of like descendants are like fighting with each other and then we find out the real reason.
Okay, I love
kind
that.
of thing. I really, really love that. What about you?
I have a pitch. And anybody can have this if they want to make this. Okay?
Yes.
So it's kind of like, it's like a Ryan Murphy, like campy horror, but like much more like a comedy horror. You know, Brad Falchuk is involved.
Brad
He
Falchuk
signed
is
on.
there.
He signed on.
He signed
Gwyneth
on.
is on set. You know. And it
God.
takes place at like a Salem Witch Trials museum, and the girls that are kind of like in the reenactments, okay? And then all of a sudden, like something is starting to happen where it's like one of the descendants of like, one of the like witches' ghosts or whatever is like wreaking havoc on the museum and trying to kill people.
That's cool.
So the girls have to like get together to figure out how to stop this and like right the wrongs. But it's still like a bitchy comedy where they're like, will you shut the fuck up for 1 fucking second or whatever? Do you know what I mean? Like there's one that they all hate.
Bitching.
Or whatever. They're
mad.
bitching. They're 16.
They're 16
lovely.
and they're mad.
And if you want to make that, you can have it.
I love that. I love that.
So that's the Salem Witch Trials in pop culture.
Oh, I love it, love. I really loved it.
Yeah.
I also do have to say that I once submitted, I can't remember if it was me or my sister, but one of us, me or my sister, got a picture we drew of Sabrina the Teenage Witch into a Sabrina the Teenage Witch comic book. Yeah.
Hell yes.
Yeah, it is a bad pick. And I can't remember if it was me or my sister.
But I relate to that. That's,
you know what I
mean? Growing up with a sister, you're like, it could have been her, it could have been me. But it was shared. It was a shared accomplishment.
I know, I was looking for it, but I couldn't find it fast enough, but I'll find it soon.
It's okay.
I'll find it soon. As always, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, please follow us on Instagram if you want to join the Patreon.
Yes, message us on Instagram or send us an email at girlhistorians@gmail.com if we've missed any of your favorite Salem witch trial in media moments, because we'd love to discuss it before we end the season.
Yeah, exactly. Because we are, if you get the sense, we're winding down right now. And we've got some really fun announcements coming soon.
Guys, I'm so excited. It's going to be so, let's just say, strap in.
You said that in such a beautifully genuine way.
No, I'm so excited.
So excited.
It's going to be so much fun.
I am. This has been a fun. We're not ending yet. Don't worry.
No, we've got a couple more. It's just that we have to plan ahead. You just get to sit back and listen.
Plan ahead.
All right. Thank you guys. See you
Goodbye.
soon.
Love you. Have a beautiful May.
Bye.
Happy May. Bye.